This is my first adventure on video, and what I thought I would do is show you my absolute favorite new technique. I just love this. I can't get enough of it. I am going to show you the letterpress technique. I've had lots of questions about it, so thought this will be a good place to start. I'm going to start with the Spellbinders Impressibilities, and this is Floral and Stone, and this is a new one. This will be available very, very soon. And what I do is I put it on a scratch piece of paper because I'm going to push my ink pad all over this, and I don't want to make a huge mess. I typically use pigment-based ink, and I prefer some of the thicker ones like the Color Box from Clear Snap here. I also like the chalk Color Box ink because it leaves such a soft finish. So now you can see I have covered my Impressibility with ink, and you can see you can get a pretty cool background if you keep it still too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on one of my master mats. The scratch paper I'm using is just printer paper. It's thin, so it's not really going to affect the thickness of what's going through your machine. And then I'm going to top it with a sheet of cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just put the sheet of cardstock over the top. And for this, just to show you, I'm just using a half sheet of paper. And I'm going to top it with an embossing mat. Remember, when you're using the Impressibility, you always want to push the paper into the Impressibility. That's how I always remember which way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in my wizard. Handle forward. I want to set it up here, and you want to push and roll, and it's started, and you can hear it. And there we go. We're going to start cranking. I'm going to make sure I have my hands here to control the release when it comes out. And here you can see the embossing, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to peel it away from the thing, and there we go. We have a beautiful letterpressed piece of cardstock that you can cut and use. Now you can see how the ink, I hope you can see, how the ink is left behind where it impresses, and I just think, oh gosh, that is so beautiful. So there's another technique using letterpress, a really cool thing that I want to be able to show you. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take this Label 6 shape, available very soon. This is how I store all my nestabilities. I use CD cases, take the insides out. I just buy magnets and strips, and they fit in here perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a shape out first. And when we cut, we use the spacer plate if you have those, or your magnetic mat. So you take a sheet of white cardstock, and in fact I think I'm going to turn this so that I use my paper better. I'm going to set this on here. We don't use our embossing mat this time because we are cutting. I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut this shape. So handle forward, slide it in and roll. You can see it's not as thick when I'm cutting. That popping is just fine. It's just the paper and the plates. What I'm going to do is I am going to leave this in its die, and you're going to see why in just a minute. So I'm going to leave that in there. And go back to our scratch piece of paper. And once again, we are going to ink the whole surface. Now this time it's not going to be a big deal to have the whole surface done. There we go, that looks good. I'm going to set this on my master mat, and now here is what is such a cool thing. Take your shape and set it right on here. Now remember, when you use your Spellbinders dies, you always cut side up when you run it through the machine. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to set this on here. I'm going to turn it this way. Okay. And because I'm embossing, I'm going to cover it with a scratch piece of paper so we don't make such a mess. We're going to emboss, so we are going to push the mat into the paper. Go ahead and top that again. This is a good video to show you how to use the wizard too. Let me just make sure I hold it. And then this is what I just absolutely love. I'm going to peel this off of there. I'm going to pop this out. Here you can see I letter pressed on here, and it's messy because I was using scratch, but I want you to see how it embossed, but the letterpress didn't come through. So now you have this gorgeous inside letterpress piece, and yet the edges are still in that gorgeous nestabilities embossed that we love so well. Now you can see everything's all dirty. I'm kind of type A, I don't really like that. So what I do is I just typically, I will take this, and if I have a spray stamp cleaner or a rub-on stamp cleaner, I just really quick just go over the top of it just to get the extra ink away. And I'll do the same thing on my nestability too here. Just get rid of some of that ink and just go with a paper towel, and then it will come right off. And now it's all clean and ready to use again. And that's the thing you gotta remember about these, is all this stuff is meant to clean up. So get it dirty, get it icky, and then just clean it up when you're finished. Now I wanted to point out one more thing about doing some letterpress. And for this, I wanted to point out how you can just use a single piece of your impressibility. So I'm going to reach over and grab just a piece. Now this is a piece that I cut out from my flower impressibility. I just cut the border away. I just use my wire snips. You know, make sure you flag down all those little pieces that you're snipping away, all the hook pieces. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put ink. I'm going to ink my table too while I'm at it. I'm just going to put ink all over this. Let's wipe this away so we don't make a mess. And I'm going to just set my piece of paper over the top. Now what's really cool about this is you can use it to make a border or an edge. And let's actually trim this away a little bit more. I'm going to set this on my master mat. There we go. I'm going to set this over the top. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to take this scratch piece of paper away. It's so covered in ink that I'm going to get it ruined. So I'm going to set this on here. And I'm going to top it with a pad. Run it through the machine, so you're going to get one more demo on the wizard. I just kind of hold it on that end just to help guide it. I have no idea why. Don't forget to switch your hand over so you can control the exit. There's a lot of pressure in that machine, which is what makes the impressions it makes so beautiful. And there you can see how I've just letterpressed border down the side of my card. Isn't that cool? I just think that's so much fun. Well, I hope you learned a little bit about impressibilities, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll get the chance to do a few more. Thanks so much. Bye.